Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to the Mary D Talk Show. We're back here for another beautiful Monday. Don't I know I say that every Monday, right? But it is a beautiful Monday. It is gorgeous. But the truth is, every Monday is a beautiful Monday. I just want you to know it. Every day is a beautiful day. Let's just be honest. We are here. We're in the land of the living. It's beautiful. So just know that. So welcome back. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mary D. Welch. I am your host of the Mary D. Talk Show, live on Mondays, 1 to 2 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. So thank you for being here. I'd like to thank you, our live viewers. Anytime you're here, whether you're live or replay, you are special to the Mary D. Talk Show. So thank you for coming on. I'd like to also thank our sponsors for today's show. And I didn't think about the sponsors are not scrolling at the bottom, huh? But our sponsors are members of the community. They're advertising their business. So please support those businesses that are there. It really makes a difference when you do that. So I just wanted to make sure those sponsors are, I think they're scrolling on the bottom. So definitely support them. And they are, we have Dumas Martin of the Idea Club. He's the president of the Idea Club. If you're looking to have a limited liability corporation or LLC. If you're looking for S corp or C corp, you can call or you can go to the website for Dumas Martin Jr. I'm sorry, for the Idea Club, and Dumas Martin Jr. is the president. And you want to talk to him. When I tell you this man's an expert on this, he really is. He's dedicated his life to this. So I would highly encourage you to get in contact with Dumas. If you're looking for insurance, we have the Sutton Insurance Company if you're looking to purchase a home. We have the Henderson Real Estate Team if you're looking to write a book. Put all this in there. If you're looking to write a book, you can contact Front Page Publishing. In fact, let me also throw a shameless plug in there today. Front Page Publishing tonight will be offering, I said tonight, it's a free webinar. And the webinar it says, write your book now. Write your book now. And I'm saying that to many of you may say, what? Well, what is the rush? There it goes right now. That's the link. You can still sign up. It's not too late. It'll be at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tonight. I don't do them that often. So I would encourage you, if you have had a thought about a book, and I say that a thought, because that's where it starts. Every single book that was written began with a thought. Every one. I don't care if it's, whatever the book is. It can be a children's book. It can be what for adult. Doesn't matter. It started there with a thought in someone's mind. So I would encourage you, if you have a thought, you said, you know what, I've always thought about writing a book, and you don't know where to get started. I hear that more than anything else. I don't know where to get started. Then come tonight. It's all free. 45 minutes of your time, 6:30, 7:15. I promise you we will not exceed 7:15 because I already understand time is precious. So you want to come to that. And there's the link for that. I put it up on the screen for you. Okay. And those of you that I always show these out because I always encourage you, I say our oldest author, but she's the youngest 90-year-old I know. And her name, and I always show the book because I'm so impressed by her. And that's Dr. Mildred Dalton Henry. I'm sorry, Dr. Mildred Dalton Hampton Henry. This is her biography. This lady is phenomenal. When I don't even have the words to tell you how phenomenal she is. But you want to get this book. It is on Amazon. And I can tell you, it's an easy read, but the information is invaluable. It's historical. She lived everything in here. And a couple of incidents that I do mention this is that her parents' farm, their home was burned down by the Ku Klux Klan, not once, but twice. And the father had guards around the house. And then I don't want to give away the whole story, but I say this to say these things really did happen. And we know now we're going through books being banned. Think about that, where we are now going through our society. This is one that won't get banned. This is but published by Front Page Publishing. Get your copy now. Excellent read. And I want to also share with you other authors that have come in to are gone through Front Page Publishing. This author right here. This is Why is Little Faye So Happy? Fayette Foster. Hi, Fayette. So this is her book. Excellent read. Children's book. Colorful. There you look how colorful. Easy to read to kids. And that's what you want. You want that ease when it comes to working with kids. Another excellent book published by Front Page Publishing is this one by Justin Lowe. And this is our son. My cat is a spy. And I'm gonna tell you, I even think this is cute. Look on the back. See that look how the cat is looking over his shoulders? I think that is the cutest thing. But this is Justin's book. And these are for ages, I would say 3 to 5. That'd be a good age group. And some of you are familiar with books that I've written. The newest one being this one, Justin Lost a Tooth. This is doing really, really well on Amazon right now. So thank you. And those of you that will, please leave a review. People read those reviews. So take the time, if you don't mind, and leave a review. Stuck in the Elevator is another one based on a true story. My husband and I were stuck in the elevator in South America. This is another one. And all of the books that I've written are for ages 3 to 5, 3 to 6, little students, little kids. And Peyton the Pink Whale with the Yellow Tail. Ooh, did I disappear? No, where'd you guys go? Oh, there you go. There we go. And Saying No Nicely. Now this one, I'm going to say this on this one. This book, out of all the books I've written, is the best-selling book. Think about that. Out of all the books, this is the bestseller. I think because this book is 38 pages, and I'm saying this because it takes like 30 minutes to read this book. But if you look at the reviews on Amazon on Saying No Nicely, this is the book people love. They do love that book. And I think it's because we struggle with saying no nicely. We want to say no, but we don't know how to say it nicely, or we don't know how to say it. Let's say that. And what happens is we struggle with it, and then we say yes when we want to say no. That's why Saying No Nicely is such a popular book, I think. It's because we want to say no, but we don't want to hurt people's feelings. We have all those emotions going on. I think that's what it is. So, but in the book, I give you ways, and believe it or not, one of the ways you learn how to say no without even using the word no. I just love that tip. And I'll tell you, everything in the book I've done. So I will tell you that too. So that book is still one of the best ones that's out there. So I'm excited about that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this, and I mean this. I'm not just saying this. This gentleman is phenomenal. That's our special guest today. He is renowned in that when I tell you, he doesn't have just one degree, a professional degree. He has two. He's not only an MD, he's a JD. Just the thought of that. And he already knows. I've already spoken to him personally and said, wow, how to get 2 degrees, not 1 degree, 2 degrees is phenomenal. So it is just phenomenal. So I just wanted, first I'm going to read some of his bio. We talked about earlier, he goes, oh, you don't have to read everything. I don't, but I do want you to know, number one, he is a Yale graduate. And for those of you know, I'm sure you know, Ivy League schools are extremely competitive and hard to attend, but just to end up getting degrees from there. But I will go through some of his. He is the president of the Choctaw Medical Group. This is Dr. Choctaw. He's a clinical practice providing, he's providing general surgery, the mind is jumping around, services to the patients. My screen, why am I not read through here? Because my screen is not, don't ask me why, but you know what I noticed? Technology, that's what it is. Hold on, let me see. And I apologize, Dr. Choctaw. I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Not only is, as I mentioned before, an MD and a JD, but this man is a Christian gentleman who gives back to his community with an open heart. He is somebody who, if you'd be honest, we all look to see leadership and how they conduct themselves in our community. What I do appreciate about Dr. Choctaw, and he'll mention this too, is that he is the product of a single parent home. So those of you that think that because you're from a single parent home, you cannot succeed, he is definitely here to tell you that is not true. So I'm going to tell you introduce to you someone I've met, very happy to meet, very honored to meet, our own Dr. Choctaw. Are you there, Dr. Choctaw? Hold on. You're going to be coming in. Here you go. Whoop, whoop, whoops. There you go. Whoops. It's not adding you. There we go.
Yeah, there I am.
Okay. I knew you were there, though. Okay. Welcome. And I can tell you, Dr. Choctaw, my screen, I mean, to be honest with the audience too, is jumping a little bit. So if I disappear, don't leave. I'll be coming back in again.
Okay.
All right. I would like for you to tell the audience about your background because I gave some background, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to give even more.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm absolutely delighted to be with you this afternoon. I am originally from Nashville, Tennessee. I was born and raised there. I went to HBCU, Tennessee State University in Nashville. I was fortunate while I was at Tennessee State that in the summertime I got a fellowship to study at Harvard. And that was when I saw in my mind at least, what I considered the broader world. And so while at Tennessee State, I always knew I wanted to go to medical school. I applied to Yale and was successful. I also applied to Meharry and I was successful there too.
Wow.
But I decided to go to Yale and practice general surgery in the San Gabriel Valley for about 4 to 5 years in terms of taking care of patients, mostly out of Queen of the Valley Hospital in a community hospital in Covina. But then subsequently, I joined the executive team at the hospital, and I was the chief transformation officer. And my job was to provide change and improve quality healthcare in our healthcare organization. I left there and then joined a national team called the Joint Commission, which is commissioned by the federal government. And we travel all over the country to make sure hospitals are meeting their accreditation standards. And so I like that because it allowed me to look at healthcare from multiple perspectives, one as a clinician and then as a regulator. And I most recently stepped down from that position, and I'm mostly now just educating and consulting. But I have been blessed, and I'm delighted to be with you.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know the area that I mentioned to you that I thought our audience would be most interested in is COVID related because this COVID has changed our lives, I think, forever. Um, and how it has impacted predominantly communities of color, it's been devastating to our communities. But now we're faced with, in my opinion, not that COVID's gone, but it's the long haul COVID or residue. What I guess that's better. I could describe it like that. What is it that we should be concerned about now?
Well, a number of things. I agree with you that COVID, that's CHOC,
Oh,
CAW, like
thank you.
chocolate.
Okay. Let me clean it. Thank you. Thank you. CHO. So let me go back and pull it up. Here we go. I'll make that change.
Okay, no problem.
Hey,
COVID basically started, and your audience knows this, but just as a general introduction, COVID started probably, yeah, thank you.
you up?
Started around about 2020. Actually, probably started like late 2019, but I think most people in this country were aware of it in 2020.
Right.
And so this is our fourth year with COVID in 2023. I mean, think about that. I mean, that's a long time. Most of us, actually, none of us has ever lived through a pandemic. I certainly have not. And so it has been a long time. And so to answer your question, it has fundamental changed the way we do things. One, because we had to adjust to so much. Some people suggest that, we're going to go back to normal when it's over. Number one, I'm not sure it's going to be over. I think we'll probably just learn to live with it. And number two, I think this is the new normal that we're in. I think our whole society and the world society has been irreversibly changed. Now, whether that's a good thing or bad thing is up for debate, but I think we're different now than we were some years ago. In terms of long COVID is one of those areas of the COVID infection that's is particularly um, 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 different in that many people go through the treatment and they go through the different experiences, but it's like the clinical signs many times don't go away immediately.
Right.
And so we're learning more and more about that now. We're learning how better to treat long COVID in terms of what works and what doesn't work. But it is something that is definitely with us.
Is there, because I know too, I just, one of our nieces, she has a little niece, I guess it's her son, who was only, he was 5 months old.
Mhm.
He had the RSV. What does
Yes,
RSV
yes.
stand for?
Yes, it's a type of syncytial type of virus. It's a unique type of virus that's only in children,
Right.
and the theory is that most of the times, and this is really interesting, most of the times as we grow up as as we're born and we grow up as babies and as children, the
Hmm.
body is exposed to all sorts of different things in our environment
Right.
that actually helps to protect us. And some of the things that the body is exposed to are other types of viruses that
Hmm.
never infect us, but allow us to build up immunities
Hmm.
so that we actually never get those viruses. I mean, the body is just extraordinary. But what happened with the RSV is
Hmm.
because of COVID, remember we talked about it being 4 years,
Right.
children that were born in 2020 many times have been more in a controlled environment, more not on lockdown, but have not been able to run around in school and
Right.
preschool and that sort of thing the way all the rest of us did. So their bodies do not have defenses against some
Right.
of these type of virus, and the RSV is one of those types of virus. So this is a new virus that's caused by COVID in an indirect way, if
Okay.
you will. Yeah.
Hmm. And I'm listening because they were here last night, and she's told us they almost lost him.
Well,
Um,
it's any type of virus is serious, certainly at this level. And again, the very very young are vulnerable, just like the very very old are vulnerable.
right, right. And so the grandmother actually saw he was struggling so hard to breathe, and
Mhm,
she just to take him to the emergency. And the doctor said, had they waited, he
mhm,
probably would not have made it.
mhm,
He was
mhm.
that, and I'm so, and he's the cutest little baby. But so
They all are.
I
That's right.
it's true. Isn't that the truth though? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just was sitting there watching him going, oh my God, Lord, it would have been a lot, such a devastating. And I
Yes.
mean, to be it for something that, well, she didn't know have any control. None of us do. I think that is the biggest, um, I guess, painful thing that what we've gone through. Because I have lost, I don't know how many people through COVID. Honestly, I don't really even know the number because
Mhm.
some people have died from COVID, but they didn't say it was that.
That's
Or,
exactly right.
and that's what I'm hearing. You know what I mean? And you
Yes.
hear other reasons, but it probably the underlying reason was COVID.
There are a number of healthcare professionals who believe exactly that. And it's the patient's choice and their family's choice. Some people, if they have COVID, they don't want to talk about it.
Hmm.
Some families, if it's in their family, they don't want to talk about it.
Hmm.
And so, if that person were, so two things. So, if that person were to die, many times they may just say, no, we don't want that publicized. And
Right,
so then it's, people die from a heart attack because when we die, all of our hearts stop. So
right,
you can, from a heart attack.
hmm,
But many times COVID may have been a contributing factor, number one.
right, right.
Number two, but one of the things we found that a lot of patients who have other serious problems, many times COVID may contribute to their death, but not be the main cause of their death.
Right.
And we've seen that. And then the third thing is that sometimes the numbers just may not be accurate
Mm,
in terms of the number of people. Because think about it, more and more now, particularly in 22 and 23, we're going to home testing. And so if I test myself at home and I'm positive for COVID, I'm not going to report that to the health department in
exactly.
general. I'm not obligated to do that.
Right,
So you may not know that I've died from COVID.
right, right.
So a lot of those numbers are underreported as compared to 2021, when most of the patients dying from COVID were dying in the hospitals.
Hmm.
Hospitals are obligated to report all COVID deaths to the public health department
Right.
and get into a national database. And so we had a much more accurate reflection 2 years ago than we do now.
Now, this is my observation of what has happened with COVID. I don't know why it became political, but it did. And unfortunately, when it did, in my opinion, there are people that died because it became political.
Yes. That's exactly true. And I don't know why either, to be honest with you. I've been in healthcare. As a matter of fact, this year is my 50th year graduating from Yale, because I've gotten stuff from the alumni thing. And so my point is, I've been doing this for a long time, and I cannot remember a time when there was such a backlash or whatever. I can't explain it. There have always been people who were what we call anti-vaxxers.
Right.
There were parents
Right.
who would not allow their kids to be vaccinated, but usually been a very small, limited group.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think part of the contributing issues this time was because it occurred during a certain political um, system, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of people in charge, and they had a certain philosophy. And I think they have a very, very large megaphone. And if you have that bullet pulpit and you have distorted ideas, you have the opportunity to disseminate those distorted ideas on a much broader scale. And I think that's part of what happened this time. And also, I think, the internet is a pro and a con. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the cons of the internet is that you can say anything and put it out there, and 1,000 people will read it. And they too may propagate the same thing. So it's made it frustrating. Interestingly, there was an article that came out not too long ago that actually broke down the deaths of patients with COVID in red states and blue states, which I thought was interesting. And what they found, and what I particularly thought was interesting, certainly early on, minorities tend to lead the numbers in terms of death from COVID, as we see with a lot of different things, a lot of different illnesses. But what this particular study showed was that those individuals who live in red states and who have a certain political philosophy had surpassed minorities in terms of death from COVID. And it's just
Wow.
another way of re-emphasizing that this is real. I mean, that this virus is real. And the virus doesn't care
No.
whether you live in a blue state or a red state. The virus
Mm-hmm.
doesn't care whether you are Republican or Democrat or independent. The virus just wants to feed. And its whole purpose is to survive by feeding off of humans. And unfortunately, a lot of people, and the reason why this article was done was a lot of people are looking back now and said, maybe if my dad had not been so blah, blah, blah,
Right.
he'd still be alive today because he would have gotten the vaccine the way I did or my siblings did,
Mm-hmm.
on and on and on. So unfortunately, um, politics has caused some people to pay the ultimate price in terms of following misinformation.
And that is, just the thought of, I know there was a doctor, I probably saw about a year ago, and
Mhm.
she was on one of the talk shows, and she said, I cannot tell you how many people, before we incubate them,
Mhm.
say, I'll take the shot now.
Mhm.
And it's
Mhm.
too late.
Yes, yes, that's exactly right. Um, it's in a democracy, I guess, and I've only lived in this country, so I don't know about other countries.
Right.
When you're free to say what you want to say and do what you want to do,
Right.
that may not always be a good thing. And I think there have been a number of studies that have come out now because, like I said, we're in year 4 now. So
Right.
now folks are looking back retrospectively and are seeing, well, what happened to Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so? And they're going back and finding their children and their family members are writing articles saying, we don't want other families to go through what we went through
Wow.
because dad wouldn't get the vaccine, or mom wouldn't get it, or
Mm-hmm.
brother or sister wouldn't get it, whatever. But it is real. And individuals are paying the ultimate price for that.
That's just too bad. But I tell you what we're gonna do. We have comments, so we're gonna
Okay.
go to those and see first. And some are saying, just happy Monday. But I do love interacting with our audience, and then there may be some questions that some of
Okay.
our listeners have. Brother Hammonds, hi, Brother Hammonds. Good afternoon, happy Monday. God bless you both. Thank you. And we have Hattie here. Amen. All right, Hattie. Thank you, Hattie. And Sheila Hartman. Hi, Sheila. I haven't seen you for a while. Welcome back. Linda Weaver, Jimmy Dale said hi. Oh, hi, Linda. Jimmy Dale is my cousin. Hi, Jimmy Dale.
Hi, Jimmy.
And then we have Richard Nichols. Hi, Richard. He says hello and happy birthday to Oliver. Thank you, Richard. Yesterday was my husband's 80th birthday. So we celebrated it. And it was so much fun. So thank you, Richard.
Thanks,
And
Richard.
Brother Hammonds said, thank you for this interview. You're welcome, Brother Hammonds. You're welcome. Sonia Adams. Hi, Sonia. And Sonia's going to be on the show. She's coming up. She's going to be a guest. Hello. Very informative. Nice of you, Richard. Dr. Choctaw, good to see you. That's Richard. And Dumas says, hello, Mary and Dr. Choctaw. Hi, Dumas. I'll get all
Hello.
of you. Hello, hello. I know. Well, tell you, Dr. Choctaw, what can at this point? Because this is what I received the booster. I think it was December. My thought is because both my husband and I are seniors, and we if there was a shot out there, we took it. I'm gonna tell.
Right. Understood. Good.
We
Good.
did. We're like, okay, we recognize we're in that high risk group. In fact, my cousin's a nurse, and she lives in Maryland. She called us when everything first started, and she said, "Mary and Oliver, you guys be the first ones in line,"
Yeah.
because they were seeing so much going on, and the death rate it was just literally going through the roof. When they were at first, you watch, I guess, usually CNN and talk about how many people died today and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And she said, "You guys are part of that group, so
Yes.
we're getting
And
down there."
you bring up an excellent point that I think is so important to get across. Age is a pre-existing condition. Age. You
Yeah,
can have no medical condition at all, but be 65 years of age and older.
that's
That alone is a pre-existing condition and allows you to qualify to get the vaccine. And so it's important to understand that you don't have to be sick or you don't have to be, bedridden or whatever. You can be out doing whatever you do, but just be what I call a young 70 or a young 65 or whatever. But that alone is a pre-existing condition, and you should get the vaccine.
wow. Well, that's what we did. She was very adamant, which we told her
Good.
you don't have to say anything. We're going to do it anyway. But I think she just wanted to make sure we didn't have this misconception about anything that we don't need it or anything like that. We do, and we're wearing masks. But I'll be honest, we're not as on top of it as we were, and probably because of we've had the shots, the boosters, and everything else. I think that's why. I think
Let,
that's.
let, let, let me give you my thoughts about the mask. And again, I'm so happy you brought that up.
Mhm.
Um, One of the things that we can control in terms of protecting ourselves best, I think, is wearing the mask.
Right.
I keep my mask with me. Now, and certainly nowadays, with all the regulations being relaxed and
Mhm.
on and on and on, and just recently, I think, President Biden, that, a lot of these things are sunsetting now in terms of the emergency regulations. We still need to stay vigilant.
Right.
I believe that the most challenging part of being vigilant, this is my personal opinion now, is going to be family and close friends.
Mhm.
If you go to work or if you go to a conference or whatever, you aren't going to have a problem putting on a mask. But if a family says, well, we always get to have dinner the first Sunday in every month, and
Mhm.
there are 20 of you or 30 of you, now you got to think, oh, am I going to wear the mask?
Mhm.
Are they going to think there's something wrong with me, or I'm just different or whatever,
Yep.
whatever. And my point is, get over that, get past that,
Yes.
and be proud of wearing your mask or taking your mask, because I think it's going to take that type of internal leadership
Mhm.
within the family that will keep us that will keep us safe and alive for
Right.
years to come. It is difficult. It is challenging because members of the family will challenge you.
Right.
Why are you doing this? Blah, blah, blah. We've all been vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. The virus is still here. The virus hasn't gone anywhere, number one. Number two, there are a lot of people who are not vaccinated still, even though we're blessed to live in the state of California and a lot of people are vaccinated in California, but that's
Mhm.
not 100%.
Nope.
I guarantee you, if you get on an airplane anywhere and you go somewhere else anywhere, or even just get on an airplane, you're going
Mhm.
to be around people who are not vaccinated, or if you go to your local grocery store, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So it's difficult because we can't rely on Big Brother or the government to tell us what to do. and you sort of have to do it individually, and that makes it more challenging. When I go to church, I take my mask with me, even though we relax the mask requirement in my church. I take it with me, and remember, I just said this, this past Sunday. If somebody coughs behind me or in front of me, I don't have a problem pulling it out and putting it on. I don't, and I do it proudly. And so I tell the particular men in our men's Sunday school class, wear your mask proudly. Be proud of your mask. Put your head up, shoulders back. Say, yeah, I want to live, and I want you to live too, because I'm not only wearing my mask for me, I'm wearing my mask to protect you.
That's true. That is so true. I know at the event yesterday, I have a cousin that has a few health issues, and she had her mask on, and she said, I can't be around anybody with a mask in a group. So, I can't.
Mhm.
It's just not going to happen when you're
Mhm.
around people. Like you said, there are people that are still not vaccinated, and the virus doesn't care. It's not.
Yeah.
I think there's something about, and I'll be the first to admit, I have been just yesterday. I didn't have my mask on just yesterday, but
Mhm.
just listen to you now. I wish I had.
Well, it's up and down. I've not worn my mask at times when I should have worn it. It's a process.
Yeah,
It's a process. And
mhm,
the main thing is the more we keep working on that process, we get better and better and better at it.
that's true.
But the main thing is to be clear on what our goal is. And our goal is to stay alive and to keep people around us alive. It's not just about us, it's to keep people around us alive. And I think that takes leaders in healthcare to some extent, and
Mhm.
so I think each one of us can be an individual leader every time we put that mask on.
It's true, but it reminds people that the virus is still here.
Yes, and that's difficult because people want to forget about it. That's why
Hmm.
they get upset with you. And you say, "Well, why are you so upset?" So, "Oh, you don't have to wear that mask." Well, yeah, yes, you do. The virus is still here. So that's part of that challenge. And so, just keep that in mind. But the
Um,
goal is to stay alive.
it
That's the goal.
is. I know when everything first happened, I was in Atlanta when they shut everything down,
Hmm.
and I was trying to get back to California.
Hmm.
I never, well, I actually I put a video up. I was
Hmm.
in Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. You could have rolled a bowling ball down there, and you wouldn't have hit a soul. To see a bustling airport go to literally zero to go no people, and the
Hmm.
plane had six. There were six of us on a plane coming to
Hmm.
California, and I mean, I think all of us were just scared
Yeah,
because we
yeah,
didn't know what was going on. It felt like the Twilight Zone.
yeah, yeah.
It
And
felt,
we're all human, and a lot of people who don't wear the mask are just tired. I mean, they're just tired of masks. Particularly folks who are very extrovert and very gregarious, and they enjoy meeting people and hugging people and laughing and talking, whatever. It is more of a burden for them, and I'll admit that. I consider myself an introvert, so it's probably easier for me to talk about it. But it is a challenge. It is not easy. It is not easy, and it's something that requires time to get to the level that each of us needs to be. So we just need to give ourselves permission, but
Mhm.
stay focused on the mission.
So the wearing the mask, that's something that we all can do,
Right, and you can
uh,
do it anytime.
and washing our
That's just your
hands.
mask.
That's true. I know the washing hands never was an issue with me. I think
Right,
that
right.
because before I touch anything, I'm gonna watch. That was just part of my lifestyle, basically.
Understood.
But at the same time, I look at now. I think I'm more. I pay more attention to it
Understood.
because
And also the 6 feet distance, sometimes let's say you're in church or you're in a grocery store or whatever. You can do little things to try to maintain that distance a little bit. I know that's what I try to do.
right,
And I need to do better, but I'm working on it. So
right,
so those are things. Basically, control the controllables.
right,
Control the
exactly.
controllables. You
So whatever
cannot
it
control
is.
other people. Don't even try. Don't even go there. Don't don't get in long discussions. Don't get in
No,
confrontations.
no, I'm
Don't go there. But you can control what you do,
exactly.
and that's I call it talking to the person in the mirror. Have that conversation with the person in the mirror, and
Yeah.
have a plan with that person in the mirror, and implement that plan.
All right, I can tell you, I have it. And like you said, I keep masks. They're with me all the time. Wherever I go, we always have them in the car, whatever the case would be. But I'm definitely going to start using them more. I think
Mhm.
just talking to you has really made me come to terms with this is this like a it's not a false reality, but the
Right.
reality is I can still get COVID. That's the reality.
Yes, that
And
exactly. That is the reality. And the challenge is you're fighting human nature. All of us want to be free. We don't
yeah,
want to think about this stuff anymore. We want to get on with our lives and on and on and on and on and on. But as you mentioned at the top of the program, we have probably fundamentally changed as human beings.
right.
This is the new normal now. You
Yeah.
know, that we're not going back to that where we can never think about it again.
Mhm.
Probably, I don't think. I may be wrong, but I don't think so.
That's true. Now my question is, and I never really was ever clear of how did this virus come about? I've heard so many rumors, but I never really got clear on, where's the
Well,
original start.
no, and you're not alone with that. Well, it started in Wuhan, China, which is a province in parts of China, but the science hasn't really been clear on it either. But the theory is that this was a virus that occurred in one of the open markets that they have in China, where they have the meats and they prepare it, and you just go and you buy your meat and then you take it home and cook it and eat it for your family. And that in those markets they are all different types of animals, and that somehow the viruses in the meats in the animals infected a human somehow. Now, this is not the first time that type of theory has come about.
Mhm.
Similar with other types of viruses too, where they 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 jump into the other structure, if you will, or and cross contaminate humans. It doesn't happen often, but there's been belief that Ebola and other types of things from monkeys and other things have jumped into the human genome, if you will, and then affect humans. We humans live with bacteria and viruses every day, but they don't infect us. Again, the body is just an amazing computer, I think. But what happens is that if something changes, and viruses do evolve, that's a part of survival of their fittest, of the fittest. They evolve, and if that evolution has occurred so that they can now affect humans or infect humans, then that occurs. But no one knows 100%, to be honest with you. So no one can be 100% sure about how it occurred. But that's the theory. That's the theory. I think you just jumped off. So I'll just continue to expand on that while I wait for Mary to come back. Um, for a long time, there was suspicion, and this is probably more political than scientific, that all of the information about the cause of the virus and when it occurred and how large it was has not been shared from the individuals in China, where in the Wuhan province where this occurred. That there's no data to prove that one way or another, and that's just speculation. And one could argue it may not really be relevant. What's relevant and what's clear is that the virus is here, and we're all dealing with it, and we all have to work together worldwide because it's a worldwide pandemic to eradicate it. So we all have to help each other, regardless of political affiliations or regardless of country. Oh, there you are.
I know. My apologies. I
Oh,
tell
that's fine. You told me that might happen, so I was just waiting for you to come back. I just kept talking.
I was telling my husband's he's in the living room watching us on TV, and I said he's a true professional. So thank you for that. I don't know. Sometimes I don't have any technical problems, and then sometimes I have them. That's pretty much it. But thank you. I guess, and I'll be honest. The questions I'm asking, these are questions I want answers to.
That's fine. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
as to because I know too. Maybe a question I have too.
Mhm,
When they were vaccinating, they started with the seniors first.
mhm.
Why is it that they didn't start with the babies? Why? What was it about the
Well,
younger?
the seniors were the ones dying first.
Okay.
Keep in mind, when this virus first started, we didn't know what was really going on, meaning that there was a lot we didn't know about it 4 years ago in late 2019 or early 2020. And if you remember, patient zero was in Seattle, Washington, in a nursing home.
Wow.
And if you remember also, the first recorded deaths were patients dying in nursing homes. And the
Yes.
belief was it mainly affected the very, very old, and everybody else would probably be okay. And then as our knowledge began to expand, we said, no, it can affect anybody, and anybody can die.
Right.
But that was why, and then it jumped from that patient zero in Seattle primarily to New York City. I mean, New York State. And the belief is that it mainly hit New York State because these were ports of entry from outside of the country, Europe, Asia, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But New York, and New York obviously is very populated. And
Right.
so New York took the big brunt of it. I remember that was it Governor Cuomo and
Mhm.
others were, on the TV almost daily about what they were doing and all that sort of stuff. And then it began to spread down the East Coast. Remember, there were individuals in certain states in the Midwest as well. It's not going to affect us
Right.
because we're a red state. It's only going to affect the blue states. But then that wasn't true.
Right.
Again, the virus doesn't care. It doesn't care what color your state is or what color your politics is. It just wants to feed,
Right.
and that's what the virus has done.
Well, I mean, like that. I think that is the most, unfortunately, the most detrimental thing that happened in the United States was that it became political.
Yeah.
I can't speak for other countries because it's like you said. This is all I know. I live here, so but I was unfortunately to it's unfortunate to see people lose their life because of a political ideal
Yes.
that
Yes.
that this has no relevance
The,
today.
the first the first misinformation that came out was, well, it's just the flu. This is just like the flu. It's not a big deal. The blah blah blah, just making the CDC is making a big deal about it. Blah blah blah. And doctors knew, epidemiologists, people who studied this stuff for years, who studied AIDS and Ebola, what they knew, and they're always looking for the next pandemic. So they knew exactly. But to your point, none of us have ever experienced it like this before.
Right.
This is the first time experience for all of us, a
Mhm.
pandemic. Yes, there have been outbreaks. Ebola was an outbreak, HIV was an outbreak, but they were limited in scope,
Right.
either in terms of certain groups of people or in terms of certain countries. This is worldwide. This is pandemic all over the world at the same time. So
Wow.
this is a worldwide problem. We've never seen anything like this before.
Nope. I
And as a result, other than the very, very smart epidemiologists who've been educating us, we've had to learn, by doing and
right.
learn in time. But 4 years down the road now, we know more than we did 4 years ago.
Right. Right. I've said I don't know if this is true, but I it reminds me of when I was going to school and we would get shots for
Yep.
you get the polio.
Yep.
At first we got shots, and I think after that we had to drink. It was a sugar cube. I've done whatever
Right. Right.
my parents did it, and they
Right.
did it without question.
Right.
What, but then later on in life, we start hearing more about people questioning and not trusting and not all of those things. And some of it, I would be honest, some of for African Americans go back to Tuskegee. That has some of the us on
Yep.
edge. I'll be the
Yep.
first one. It came for me too, and I had to come to terms with you got to make up your mind. You can, yes, I'm not saying that didn't happen. It did. But I thought when it comes to giving me a vaccination, I don't think it says this is for African American gets this one, and if you're not African American, you get that one. I think
Mhm,
it was
mhm,
really all of us. If you want to live, basically,
mhm.
and you have opportunity to take this, and then there's no guarantee either because there's a certain percentage of people that said they had
That's
the
true.
shot and they passed away for whatever the reason. I don't
Right.
know
It's not 100%. That's true. That's
exactly.
true.
That's what I was
But
saying.
when and I am so one of the reasons why I'm delighted that you have this program and that we're talking about this is that my church, a number of the leaders, particularly in the men's leadership group at my church.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking specifically about Reverend Collins, Reverend John Nickens, um, um, Jesse Hammonds, others,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all in the same Sunday school class.
Okay.
And so, what would happen in Sunday school class is people would start asking members, and it's all men Sunday school
Okay.
class,
Oh, that's
African
wonderful.
American for the most part. And they would ask a lot of questions about COVID. And so then Reverend Collins and Reverend Nickens said, you know what? Why don't we just take a part of the Sunday school class at the end and
Uh-huh.
let you have 5 or 10 minutes, and you guys can ask Dr. Choctaw anything you want to know about COVID. And then they started joking with me, and they started calling me the Black Dr. Fauci and all that sort of stuff. But my point is, I was extremely impressed with that and the leadership on their part,
Mm-hmm.
because there is a lot of stuff going around.
It
I
is.
bet you I have seldom had a conversation about the pandemic, and Tuskegee does not come up. That's why I smiled when you mentioned it,
Okay.
because it is an issue for us, African Americans, and it is real. And I read about it and I studied about it and blah, 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 blah. And one of the things that I first say is, this is not about Tuskegee. This
Yeah.
is about a virus that's trying to kill you. And I'm trying to, and with the healthcare community and others are trying to prevent it from doing that. Because Tuskegee was something different. It was appalling, and it should not have happened. But this is different, and you have to overcome that, and it takes a lot of time. But knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you know, the more you're able to help yourself, your family, and help those around you.
Right. I just, and I only, there is actually someone said it to me. They said they didn't want to have the shot because of
Yeah.
Tuskegee.
And then having the internet, that makes it even worse, because it's like, like people say, well, it's on the internet, it must be true,
Yeah.
and that's not true,
No.
but then, because anybody can put anything there, and then that just makes it, but it is what it is. It is what it
And
is.
it is really, and all of the rumors and the fears, and then
Yes.
that they fan
Yes.
the flames with the fears. I also know someone that had the initial shot and they had a bad reaction.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so they reported it to the CDC, but now they're not able to get any more shots because it could have been, they don't even know what it was that caused the reaction in them. So
Well, and that's true. Medicine is not 100%.
it's
It
not.
is not 100%. I practiced surgery for many years, but no surgeon can guarantee you
Yep.
that whatever he or she is going to do to you is
Yep.
going to be 100% accurate. So
That's
what
right.
do? We talk in terms of risk benefit ratio. The risk of you doing this versus the benefit of it doing that. And so what happens is, when people say, well, I might get a rash, I might get chills, I might get blah, blah. I said, but you're not dying. So this is about death or a reaction. I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
Yes,
And if you've seen one of those patients prone on a ventilator, I have, that'd be no question in your mind. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Give
no.
give me the shot. Give me the
And
shot.
I think that just the thought of that, to me, the thought of it coming to that, it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it, I'll put it like this. They did not have to convince me of
right.
anything. It wasn't a question. My husband and I think we were the first ones in line when they said, did you
And I must admit, I've gotten all the shots, and I did get a reaction. I mean, it wasn't like a horrible reaction, but I had some chills and for like a couple of days, so I didn't really have any pain. But it was a reaction. But I said, but I'm alive,
yeah.
and I'll do it again. I'll do it again. And when the next shot comes out, I'm going to take it. I'll do it again,
I'll take
because
some.
I want to stay alive. I can deal with that other stuff.
That's the way.
I can get over that.
And it's true because I think we blow all this up, but like you said,
Yeah.
I'm alive.
Yes.
We all know that death is imminent. We already know it's coming
Yeah.
anyway. But like I tell people, but I want to ski it into that cemetery. I want to have. I don't want to be the one. I'm not running in there. I want to be, it's going to be the last possible breath type thing. So, but I think we play games. We play
Yeah.
games with our life,
Yeah.
and
We do.
sometimes win.
That's true.
That's what I
That's true.
think this is. And I'm not about playing game with my life. I value it. I probably could do a little bit more to value it, but but I but I
Well,
definitely.
we all can. We all can. And
Mhm.
and one of the sad things about this virus is you can do everything right, but
Mhm.
then somebody around you,
Yeah,
at work or on an air or whatever, can end up getting you infected.
yeah.
So that makes it an even more difficult challenge.
Like when I was mentioning to you about my niece, her father is in the military, and her mother works in a very confined environment. But the father is around a lot of people, and she thinks that the father gave the baby the
Hmm.
virus.
Hmm.
I mean, you don't really know when you don't. And I don't know how you could actually. Well, I guess you can because they have people that do that. When they first started, they asked who were you around, and
Yes,
and then they
yes, they did.
contacted the, they. Well, I think they were called contact tracers, or
Yes.
and
And
that.
and see,
Yeah.
instantly in Europe and in China, they did a much better job of doing tracers and
Mhm.
tracking the virus. We didn't do that much in this country. We were mostly working on coming up with the vaccine. We
Right.
then caught up, but as a result, we weren't tracking the virus as accurately as
Mhm.
other people were.
Yeah.
Now I think we've sort of caught up to speed and are able to track the virus more effectively.
Right.
But it's still a challenge. It's a challenge either way you look at it.
And I understand now that the government's going to stop paying for the testing, I think, or the kids
Well,
aren't.
but I just read something today about that. They said that they will still continue to pay for it to be free, but you get the free home test,
Okay.
and that they're going to continue that part of it.
Okay.
And it's important to do that so that people can know, well, I want to go to this family gathering. Am I okay? I had a cough. Does that mean anything? Or I just came from the family gathering and now I'm coughing. Whatever do I need to check and that sort of thing. So, and I think that's one of the things that's been very helpful in this country too,
Right.
about controlling the virus. That people have been able to do their own testing,
Right.
and repeat their own testing, and so they have more control.
Mm, thank you. We have comments from our audience. So thank you, audience. We have David. Hi, David. Hi, Mary. Happy birthday, Oliver. And he was glad to be listening in. We had the opportunity to meet David a week ago. He's here. He lives between Canada and I believe North Carolina. David, you can correct me, North or South Carolina. But he was here visiting. We got a chance to meet him. And to tell you the truth, David, I think you're one of the first audience members that we got to meet personally. So hi, David. So then we have, and this is Brother Hammond says, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you, Brother Hammond. That's nice of you. And those of you that would also go to YouTube and subscribe. Thank you. And we have Duma said,
Thank
brilliant,
you.
Dr. Choctaw. Very well done.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Dumas. And we have comments are coming in. The other comments is thank you, pro move, a hashtag pro move, hashtag boss move. Thank you, Brother Hammonds. Boy, Brother Hammonds, yeah, I tell you, you need to come to all the shows. No. And we have hi, Denise. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Dr. Brewster. She said, I'm pulled over. Driving is important to be vaccinated again. My last one's July 22 for 60 years and plus. Hello, Mary and Dr. Choctaw. Hello, Denise.
Hello.
And then we have Tony, and the comments are coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, we're always looking for your comments anytime. Oh, and then, did I miss one? I think I did. It said, Deborah McClendon says, great
Thank you.
discussion. Thank you, Deborah. Nice of you to stop by. And Brother Hammonds. That was Brother Hammonds. I just want to make sure I didn't miss one. And this is our executive producer, Oliver Welch, and he's also my husband. And happy birthday, babe. Dr. Choctaw, we thank you for joining the show with your wealth of knowledge in this field. Great information.
Thank you.
All right. And our daughter is here. She's here, came for the birthday party from New Jersey. So hi, Stephanie. And let me make sure I don't want to forget anyone. I say, well done. Okay, I think I did. I definitely don't want to forget if someone has a comment. But I want to make sure I thank Dr. Choctaw too. You, like, sir, this is my second opportunity to be able to interview you. But I learned something new. I'm gonna be honest. Every time I learn something new, so I want to thank you for your knowledge, your wealth of knowledge. And I do want to share with our audience about being raised by a single parent, because that's always been considered as a negative. I like for your personal.
I most certainly will. As I mentioned, I am a native of Nashville, Tennessee. And when I say Nashville, Tennessee, I'm not talking about the city. I'm talking about out in the countries. Some of you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But my mother, Amanda, was a 17-year-old high school dropout. And did not get a chance to graduate from high school because back then, if you were a girl and you dropped out of school, that was it. That was no remedial anything. That was it. And what she did, she told me, and I was the oldest. I was her only son at the time. That I would be a doctor. And that was unique because we didn't go to doctors in my neighborhood. We were too poor. I never saw a doctor. When we got sick, we went down. We saw the lady down the street, and she would do something that made us feel better. Then we were better. But I never forgot that, and that has been the driving force in my life. And so my point, very simply, in particular, when I talk to young people and young people who make mistakes, that be careful what you say to your children. Be careful what you say to your children, because what you say to your children will come true. My mother told me I would be a doctor, and here I am today. She never finished high school. But that driving force that she put in me is one of the reasons why I've been able to stay focused. And so when I was in college, I didn't worry about what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do. I did. I moved toward doing what my mother had asked me to do. Now, it was not easy. I was not a brilliant student. I struggled with organic chemistry and calculus and that sort of thing. But I had my focus. I knew what I wanted, and because of my mother. And so as parents, you're powerful. You're powerful. Use that power wisely.
Okay, I like to. Well, thank you, Dr. Choctaw, for joining us today.
Thank
Um,
you.
you're a blessing. You're a blessing to our community. Your information, as you know, this is going to be on YouTube. I never take any of the shows down, so it'll be there for other people to watch. And I always say, for we don't know how long, but the information is invaluable. So we want to thank you for taking time out of your day to come on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You too. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to share with you. This is we are down to the last few minutes of the show, but I wanted to put up again. Oh, Tony, I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to say hello to you. I want to say hello to you, and also for Brother Hammonds. Brother Hammonds, thank you so much. You on this, you were just right on point on this show. Thank you so much. And Tony, thank you so much for your comments. For those that didn't get a chance to see about, I'm gonna put it in the comments really quickly. If you have been wanting to write a book, thinking about writing a book, go to marydwelch.com. And tonight, 6:30, you can. Oh, there we go. Put it in there for you. Oh, they said I can't. I'm sorry. Facebook said it doesn't like that, so they're not going to post it. So if I put the comment from, hold on, if I put this in, they may post that. Nope, they're like, we don't like that. But anyway, I had it in earlier. Let me see if I can get it for you. Because those of you that, well, I'll say it out loud. I won't post it, but I'll just say it out loud. If you're interested, go to marydwelch.com and you can sign up to come tonight. And it's free. Doesn't cost you anything. It'll take about between 35, 40 minutes, but you're welcome to join. And if you have, this is what I find. People have ideas about writing a book, but they've never, here we go. There it is. You can copy that link down. If you have an idea, because that's where it all starts, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, but you just haven't, you don't know where to start and how to make that idea turn into a book. Or we make it something big in our heads, and it may not even be that big. Sometimes the books that we're writing, or the books that I write, are simple. They're not complicated, but we make the process big. So go to marydwelch.com and you can sign up. And that's tonight only, 6:30 to 7:15. Well, tonight, I don't want to say only, but 6 to 7:15 PST. Thank you for joining the show today. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. God bless, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye, everybody.